Announcements. Again, yeah, thanks to everyone who came out for BOS Festival. They haven't announced, the Kellys have not announced the final number of the money raised. They're trying to get to 92,000. There was a number announced at church yesterday, and I will say they're still waiting for money to come in. They're still accepting donations, so if anybody wants to donate for the playground for Bo Kelly, you can just reach out, call Cindy, or get in touch with any of the supervisors, and we'll get you the link to their GoFundMe site, and you can donate there. Or you can bring a check down to the township building, and we'll get it over to the Kellys. But I will say there's a bunch of vendors who still have to put checks in and get checks over to the Kellys, but yesterday they're within I would say about $10,000 of getting to their goal. So it looks like it's going to happen, which is fantastic news. And when the Kellys give us the final number, we'll be sure to let you know. If anybody's willing, Donna and Terry Lockwich, who is a member of the Mount Bethel Fire Department, had a stroke not too long ago. He's had other complications. He's in ICU right now. His wife, Donna, needs some help moving wood. So if anybody can volunteer like an hour or two, just let us know. That would be great. Last weekend, we had the community-wide yard sale. We had over 30 homes participate. And, Chris, I don't know if that's our biggest one yet or... Yeah, okay, it was our biggest community-wide yard sale. So we were up to about, I think, 34 homes. And I had a couple homes in my neighborhood who participated. And I'll tell you, there was traffic in and out throughout the weekend. So thank you to everyone who participated, and we'll look to do our next one sometime around September. Also talked to the Bangor Area School District, and we're going to be holding a drug awareness training in September up at the high school. Of course, the dangers of fentanyl and other dangerous drugs. So that'll be coming in September. I spoke to Superintendent Hendershot, and we're going to put something together. And then just to let you know, out on River Road, it's 3324 River Road. Priya Tellefson, as part of her Girl Scout Silver Award project, created the Story Shack. It's a free library, and you can go there, bring your kids, or go there yourself. I know they had some good books up there, some crime thrillers and interesting reads, and they have kids' books. You can go up there and you can take a book, leave a book, love a book, and keep a book. So basically, if you go to the Story Shack and you see a book in the Story Shack, you'll see it right in their driveway. You go in there, if you like a book, you can take it home. And if you got books to donate, they'll accept book donations. So it's a nice little free library. Again, 3324 River Road, and they're open 9 to 5 during the week and even on weekends, and except in inclement weather. So probably not tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. So maybe check back with them on Friday. And that's it for me. Cindy. Nick?
Yes, sir. I also want to thank everybody for BOS, especially Dave Freeman, Nick Bailey, Corey, Jen, Chase. We made Waste Management need new people to work because we kicked butt with our garbage detail. So I can't believe how great the Park and Rec. I went by Park and Rec. I couldn't even talk to anybody. They were just killing it. They did a great job. But all in all, it was a great night. Thank God that it didn't rain. And Trevor did a great job with the fireworks. It was pretty awesome. I had a few people that came up to me that I know from other townships, and they're like jealous that we all come together for all these different events that we have, which makes us all feel good to live in Upper Mount Bethel. Also, I just want to there was two people, there was an incident over the weekend, and guys probably saw it on the internet about nails on the road. And John called me about nails on the road, and maybe we should send the guys out. And I'm like, we get calls all the time from people, and I get there and there's nothing there. I said, let me check it out. And I go there on Tots Gap and National Park Road, and there's a daughter and a mother and a son and a mother, and they have bags of nails. I'm like, oh my God. I said, where did you get all of these nails? And they were out there since 4:30. I got there at 6:30 when John called me, and they said that they were just all over the road. And they picked them up for me. I thanked them, and I didn't ask them if I could use their name, so I'm not going to say their name in public, but I really want to thank them. They were not from our neighborhood. They were from Bangor, both of them. But I really appreciate what they did. There supposedly people got flat tires. I drove up and down, and I didn't see anything else that was a danger. But I really appreciate what they did for us. Also, I just want to see if anybody gives us some input on we had the 40-yard container that was out here. It filled up immediately over the weekend, so it was kind of a success, but kind of like maybe we should keep it in Eastern. So I just get any feedback if anybody wants to email me, townshipmanager@umbt.org. I'd appreciate it, since you all know that our contract is up. We don't know whatever the Board of Supervisors want to do. We're still in negotiations. We did get a lot of the 10% discount that we gave to everybody. It was pretty much a success. I will have the numbers. I usually have the numbers for the Board of Supervisors on the workshop. I didn't have time to put it all together, but I will get that to them. But other than that, that's it, John.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Okay, moving on. Consent agenda is up next. We have the April 14th, 2025 meeting minutes, the April 28th, 2025 workshop meeting minutes, and exonerations and refunds. Does anyone want to take either number 1, 2, or 3 outside of the consent agenda?
No.
I just want to say that the meeting minutes were not in my packet, so I was not able to review them.
Okay.
I don't think they were in my packet.
They're in mine. You need one, John?
Well, I would say
I'm not
if,
going to be able to read them right now.
No, I'm just saying for reading material.
I would say we take out the April 14th, 2025 meeting minutes and the April 28th, 2025 workshop meeting minutes. Take those out of the consent agenda, and let's put them on our next meeting for approval.
Okay.
So we just have exonerations and refunds.
I'll make the motion to approve the exonerations and refunds.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye. Do we need a motion to table?
No, no.
Okay.
Any opposed to exonerations and refunds? Okay, motion passes 5-0. Next up, financials is the bill list. Nick?
Yes, sir, Joe.
I was just.
In the general fund, I spent $209,423.70. Interim bills were $112,064.10. The rec fund was $1,042.81. Interim bills with $13,867.85. Road machinery was $2,340. EIT open space fund was $10,207.50. Liquid fuels was $9,906. And there's actually no escrow accounts. So the total is $358,851.96. Mr. Chair, if we get a motion to approve the bills.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have just a few things. The standby generator rental, we made a motion to approve it. Do you know when we will be getting that in?
When we purchased the other one, it was going to be 12 weeks minimum to get that, the new generator.
Okay, so we should be
So that
expecting
the-
another 1 month.
Excuse me, John?
We should be expecting another month of rental.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And also under Gross McGinley, I saw last month we had action under that entitled mandamus. John, I asked you in executive session what was happening with that. You were unaware. So I contacted them, and I got their bill, and I don't see anything under here regarding mandamus. It's negotiations, correspondence. Am I allowed to read the things that are on here?
Yeah, and you can ask Ron, but sure.
Okay. Review discussion regarding text amendment, meeting with the consultants, I'm guessing, for the text amendment, and analyzing community benefits agreement. I want to know why it was listed under mandamus.
I would reach out to Adrian and get on a call with him and ask him.
Okay. Would the proper course of action would be to remove this from the bill list?
The mandamus right here?
Yes.
Yeah, we can, until you get an answer and then report back to us and put it on next month's bill list.
All right, I see that your name is on this, so I'm guessing that you're the one that put this on it. I just want to know why he labeled it under mandamus and not...
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. I'd have to ask him.
Okay.
Which one are you talking about, the $144?
Yes.
Yeah, it's for $144.
Well, I actually have the one from, that's not on this,
Right.
but this is like a repeat. The same thing happened last month. I looked up those numbers as well, and they were like a deposition of Charlie Cole's wife, which is related to the mandamus action.
Yeah, that's not in the bill list, that.
No,
Okay.
but this one
Yes.
is, and again, this one is titled mandamus.
Yeah.
Well, we should have the bill, right? We should have gotten the
There is
bill
a bill,
from
but we're
them.
not, it's being paid by the insurance, so it's not being paid out of our account.
But then why
This
is it
one-
on our bill list?
This one here is $144. Is there?
Hold on, guys, hold on.
What do they do with it? I just had it. Yeah, Diane doesn't have it in here.
So let's just take it off the bill list, and it'll have to wait until next month. So the total amount to be paid, we'll have to subtract $144 until we know what that was for.
Right, so the $144 is what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions, Supervisor Erler?
I'm gonna take this one out. No, let's take that out.
I think that's it for now, not to take up any more time.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to pay the bills, but we removed the gross McKinley bill of $144 until we found out more of what that bill entails. So the motion's been made, it's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion to pay the bills, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to action items, Resolution 2025-12, Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program. Nick?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Do you want me to read the first paragraph?
Just like the first paragraph, the
This
quick
is for
summary.
This is for the preserve. Last year, if you guys remember, we didn't get awarded the GTRP grant for $250,000, so now we could reapply again. This is just a resolution again to apply for the grant again. And at PSETS, I spoke with the DCED again and let them know maybe to push a little buttons, but I don't know if it worked. Be it resolved that Upper Mount Bethel Township of Northampton County, PA, hereby requests a Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program grant of $250,000 from the Commonwealth Finance Authority to be used for the Upper Mount Bethel Township Preserve Phase 1 construction. Do you want me to keep going?
No.
Yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. So Pete Simone needs this document because we have to apply by the end of May.
Okay, are there any questions from the supervisors? Okay, do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-12?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Nick. Community Park Softball Fields Fencing Bid Award. Justin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, as you stated, this is for the two softball fields that are proposed up at the community park off Potomac Street. So this was just for the fencing for the two fields. We sent out bids on Penn Bid and received six bids from contractors, fencing contractors. First bid from New Holland Chain Link LLC was $91,857.60. And then you can see on our tabulation, they range from the $91,000 up to $173,868 from a GeoCorp Contracting. So New Holland Chain Link, we're very familiar with them. I believe they're Amish. They're a reputable fencing contractor. They were the apparent low bidder, and the total bid amount, like I stated, $91,857.60. In reviewing New Holland's documents provided with their bid, we have found that they are satisfactorily completed similar work for many municipal and private clients in the past. And then we submitted the bid tabulation on the second sheet. That's the colored Excel spreadsheet that's filled out on Penn Bid. So, provided the township has the available funds, we recommend awarding the community park softball fields fencing project contract to New Holland Chain Link LLC with a total bid of $91,857.60.
Okay, is there any questions from the supervisors?
Yes. Although I looked into New Holland, I think they are a very reputable company. My question was actually the assessment from Carroll Engineering. I looked at Walcombe, ASTM International, went in, Hoover Fence. It seems like 9 gauge is the standard, where you suggested 6 gauge.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a reason?
I've used 9 gauge in the past on prior projects, and we've actually had gone back out and replaced the 9 gauge and put the 6 gauge in. A 9 gauge has a diameter of about 0.15 inches, 0.15 inch diameter. A 6 gauge has a diameter of 0.19 inches, so about 0.04 hundredths of an inch. It has higher strength, it has higher resistance to bowing, higher resistance to deflection, and a higher resistance to wind loading. Given the location of the park, it's very windy up there. We felt going with the 6 gauge was a much better product, gives you better longevity and reduced maintenance in the long term. So we stand behind the 6 gauge recommendation. I also consulted with another fencing contractor who did not bid He recommended using the 6-gauge. He's been using that in all his projects. He has also gone out and been replacing 9-gauge with 6-gauge. So we just felt like getting bang for your buck to go with the 6-gauge right out of the chute. So we didn't investigate that thoroughly. So we stand by our recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Stavros.
You were all ready for my question, huh?
Yeah.
Just, I get the specification. Justin, thank you for the clarification. I know these bids went up from the first time the estimate happened. Is any of this due to the tariffs affecting material costs? And, well, I'm asking because we need to determine total burden cost to finish
there
it.
is some, I believe when we went and looked at this last year, it was about 78,000, although we now are extending the fence along both sides of the infield and the outfield, so this is a little bit of a, not comparing apples to apples, but does it have a little bit of the influence from tariff? I can't say yes or no.
And what type of warranty is provided?
It's 1 year, standard 1 year.
Is that labor
PV.
and material?
What is it?
Is that on labor and material?
Yes. It's a standard maintenance bond. It's PVC coated, it's 6-gauge wire, reputable fencing, like I said, reputable fencing contractor, so. It's
It's going to
6-gauge,
last. It's the cost that
it's the
is
cost.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
it's the cost. This just highlights why we're looking for additional funding. I have to put that out there. That's just the fencing for these ball fields. We haven't touched dugouts. We haven't touched signage. We haven't touched the infield mix that's required or the maintenance. So I get it's the lowest bid. We want the softball fields up there. It's just, the idea around us needing funding, why we asked for, foundational funds, why I asked for new methods to fund Parks and Rec. If we're not getting funding from the foundation, we don't get it anywhere else. I mean, Nick, we have $150,000 that was given us for this year. $92,000 is going to softball fields. And just the fence, we still have to pay for the remainder of the completion projects. We are working on donations to get material for the dugouts, but that's pending. We have to figure that out, but.
Yeah, just to clarify, I didn't mean to cut you off, Stavros.
It's okay.
It's just for the fence. It's my understanding the township, in order to save money, is not going to put out to bid
Right,
the actual installation of the ball fields. The township is going to do that, so that's going to save a significant amount
correct.
of money.
Separate of the infield mix, which, if I'm correct, is between 20 and 25 grand, we're estimating. Nothing is cheap for Parks and Rec. But I appreciate everything, so.
Thank you for letting us know.
And I agree with the recommendation based on the understanding and hopefully the longevity of this lasting for hopefully a really long time.
Considering it's what they use in prisons, I think that warranty is a non-issue there.
Okay, any other questions for Engineer Coyle?
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion on the floor?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we get New Holland Chain Link LLC to put up the fence for the amount of $91,857.60.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Okay, next up
Thanks,
is
Justin.
the holding tank ordinance. This is going to be tabled. So I'll make a motion that we table the holding tank ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to Roman numeral number 9, new business letter of intent EMS study. So this comes from our regional ambulance meetings, and at our last regional ambulance meeting, the municipalities had decided to agree on doing an EMS study. And in order to do an EMS study, each municipality has to have a letter of intent submitted to the Governor's Center for Local Government Services to request a study. So that's what this letter of intent is for. If we want to keep participating with the other municipalities about bettering our ambulance service response time, then we need to agree and approve this letter of intent. Nick, anything I missed?
You said there's no cost, right?
Yeah, there's no cost for the EMS study.
And Rosetto and Pen Argel have already sent their in. Banger's voting on it tonight. They invited me, Portland invited me to speak on their meeting on Monday. You can't hear me.
Yeah, I got one.
I'll repeat that.
There you go.
Just to let everybody know that Rosetto and Pen Argel approved it. That's already sent in. Banger's voting tonight. I think Washington Township is going to be presented tonight as well. No, actually, I'm sorry. I think it's actually Wednesday night, if I'm not mistaken. Portland invited me to go to their meeting. I'm going to go speak to them about it on their meeting the first week of June. I haven't heard back from WinGap. So pretty much everybody's on board.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, this is just to approve this letter of intent to participate in the EMS study with our neighboring municipalities. Again, it's no cost to the township, and then they'll come back, we'll get the study, and that's when we'll have our ambulance meeting.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
Any questions from the supervisors? Okay, can we get a motion to approve the letter of intent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll get Corey's second on that. Any other discussion or points? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Groundwater survey, Supervisor Friedman.
Yes, it's been 13 years since we did a groundwater survey, and I would like to initiate another one to bring us up to date. So I guess I just need the board's approval to start looking into that, getting bids and everything else.
And where would this groundwater survey, is this all for all over the township?
For the whole township, yes.
And when was our last one done?
13 years ago.
Okay.
And at the beginning of the well ordinance, we had geo-services. We have 8 aquifers in the township. So
You need a motion to go ahead and get bids.
get bids, initiate the bid process and everything else.
Okay, any questions from the supervisors?
No?
Is there an estimate of cost, Dave, or?
That's where we'll get a bid and see where we can fit it in the budget. Or perhaps if we get somebody up there, we can have them help fund it. What I was planning on doing is writing to everybody who's withdrawing water from the township right now. I believe there's half a dozen companies or so withdrawing water. Write them a letter, ask them to help kick in for this survey, since they give the water out of the township anyway. And we can find out how much the budget's going to be and ask them to pay a fair amount of their share.
Well, I don't think it can hurt just to get bids, and then we make a decision at that point.
Yeah. How do we know unless we try? It would be to their advantage to know how much water they're going to have to play with.
Okay, any other questions from the supervisors?
So would you be asking the water companies to pitch in money or the townships?
Anybody
in which they
anybody who's
decide?
withdrawing water out of the township right now. Portland, anybody.
I approve of this. This has been one of my my concerns that, Portland, East Bangor, everyone's asking for more wells. East Bangor is actually building another reservoir, which I don't really have a problem with because the reservoir that they have right now is like, 16 hours worth of water in case anything fails. So having another one gets them closer. But we should really be conscious of of our groundwater.
Okay, do you want to make a motion, Supervisor Erler?
I'll make a motion that we go for a groundwater survey, send that out to bid,
Okay,
to at least find the cost.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Comprehensive Plan, Supervisor Friedman.
Yes, since we've withdrawn on this plan slate belt, we are now required by state law to align the zoning, official map, and subdivision and land development ordinance with the plan. So, on the order of what Lower Mount Bethel did, you should probably form a committee and be looking for grants and finding a consultant and everything else. And maybe this would be a good time to incorporate the zoning update we did, I think it was 11 years ago. We can incorporate that into the new zoning and official map and land development and everything else.
Any questions from the supervisors?
Yeah, this new zoning, is it because we approved of the plan but pulled out of the multi-municipal agreement?
Yeah, because with the new comprehensive plan, you now have to align the zoning and the official map and subdivision and land development ordinance with the plan. You have a plan, now you have to do all these things to go with the plan. You just can't say we have a plan and that's it. There's other things that have to be done in conjunction with the plan.
Okay, so if we were to pull out of the slate belt multi-municipal plan, would we then still have to abide by these zoning restrictions?
The whole point of withdrawing from the plan was to keep the comprehensive plan, because everyone had said we paid for this comprehensive plan, let's use it. Well, now you have a comprehensive plan that you paid for through Plan Slate Belt, and when you have that comprehensive plan, you have to align the zoning with the official map and subdivision with the plan.
Okay. One of my issues with the plan is that it was written almost exclusively for boroughs, and townships were only like a side thought on it.
But you
Pretty
have to
much.
tweak the plan. You just can't use the plan as it is. You have to take it out and tweak it. This is what you wanted.
Any other questions from the supervisors?
So in order to move forward, you should probably start a committee, because that committee can now start looking for grants and funding and everything else. They can also find a consultant to help them with them. That's if you want to do this.
If we pull out a plan, can we just keep it the way it was prior to years ago that they started this, before we were all up here? Like, say, yeah, we have the book, and like Jason said, okay, we have the book, we can just set it off to the side. But I think what Jonathan and we're thinking is, sure, we didn't sign the intermunicipal plan, so now they're saying that we have to align everything. But for years, we didn't have this. So if we totally get out of the plan in general, do what we've just been doing for years. So maybe we should take the next step, and instead of just being not in the municipal plan that we didn't sign, but just totally remove ourselves from that book. We've gotten away with it for how long, and do it that way.
That is what I'm saying, but
what I thought you were trying
not to just get away with it. Our last comprehensive plan was a lot more targeted to what Mount Bethel is, and when we had the meeting with the chairs of each committee, they pretty much said exactly what was in the plan that's in the office, or I don't know if you moved it, but our last plan from 2011, it still kind of applies. Surveys would have to be redone, population reshaped, but all those statistics and numbers, I mean, we're going to have to do anyway. The comprehensive plan that we signed on with doesn't have, if it has that information in it, then we can just use it because we paid for it. But like I said, if you read the plan that we adopted and that we're trying to go along with, it doesn't say really anything. The next step for the comprehensive plan was to flesh out what we want. And that's what we pulled back from because there were a lot of legal implications for it. So if we're going to be putting together a committee, perhaps it would be better suited for us to redo the plan that we have if we want to become current. If not, I think pulling out of the Slate Belt multi-municipal plan should be our first step in that direction.
You already pulled out of the plan. You have a legally adopted multi-municipal comprehensive plan that was with the plan Slate Belt. You have that plan now. It's legal. Legally, we have it.
Yeah, we said no to the intermunicipal agreement.
I understand that.
Ron, any insight?
There is some confusion with respect to this comprehensive plan. Understand that a comprehensive plan is not a binding document. It is not something that's statutorily bound. It is simply an idea as to how a town or a municipality wants its town or municipality to look like in future years. In fact, under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, and I'm going to read it verbatim here, notwithstanding any other provision of this act, no action by the governing body of a municipality shall be invalid, nor shall the same be subject to challenge or appeal on the basis that such action is inconsistent with or fails to comply with the provisions of a comprehensive plan. So what does that tell you? If the town doesn't follow the plan, it doesn't matter. There can be no invalidity in that regard. That tells you how the plan should be looked at. In this particular case, you have the plan. Now, I agree with Supervisor Friedman that if you're going to use this, I'll call it newer plan, you may have to have a consultant come in and look and make sure that the provisions of your zoning and your subdivision are consistent with that plan. But if you don't, it doesn't matter the way I read it, okay? If in fact you want to pull out of the plan completely, you can certainly do that, and then your old comprehensive plan would be out there. Whether or not it's considered outdated or obsolete, who knows? But again, nothing that the township does can be challenged if it's not consistent with that comprehensive plan. So I'm not saying that this is much to do about nothing, but it is something that needs to be considered in the sense that the comprehensive plan is not something that is statutory or required to be followed. And in fact, if you look at the implementation agreement that was prepared, it simply said that if there is some type of, and I can't remember the name of it, Judy, I believe, remembers the name of whether it's a plan that involves other types of municipalities, all you need to do is have that plan reviewed by that municipality. That municipality can't tell you what to do. It can't impose any restrictions upon you. It can't hold up the 90-day time limit for review. So I'm not even sure if the implementation agreement makes a whole lot of difference, but at this point, we're out of that, and we're simply now left with the comprehensive plan as such.
But we've adopted a new comprehensive plan, so our old comprehensive plan is now null and void.
Assuming that, again, there is no motion made to now get out of the comprehensive plan. But yes, you are correct.
So I saw Becky Bradley, who put this together at PSTATS. We tried to get on the phone and have conversations, and again, which is a reoccurring thing, it was a back and forth without real connection and talking. She did say after one of the meetings when we first adopted it, she said, "Oh, I'm so glad that you guys went along with it. You don't have to do the next step if you don't want to." Well, after waiting over a month for her and Ron to speak about it, and then as soon as we got out of the multi-municipal implementation agreement, within 24 hours, she sent a letter to Mr. Friedman, Judy, and you, John, I believe. And in this, it says, Let me be very clear. The township is still required via state law to align the zoning, official map and subdivisions, and land development ordinance with this plan.
And Ron, what are your thoughts on that?
And I believe that statement is probably correct. But if you look at the statute, it says, however, no law or statute can be invalid or be appealed because it doesn't follow the comprehensive plan. So it appears that they're giving with one hand and taking with another. But to be safe, obviously, if you're going to go with this new comprehensive plan, then you should have someone look at it to make sure your zoning and your subdivision are consistent with it, that they follow those things. And you would have to do that whether you are with the entire Slate Belt Comprehensive Plan group or whether you're on your own. You still need to do that, and I agree with Mr. Or Supervisor Friedman in that regard.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to go ahead, that's what you got to do.
All right, Mr. Chair, out of an abundance of caution, I'd like to make the motion that Upper Mount Bethel withdraw from the planned Slate Belt multi-municipal plan that was adopted on January 27, 2025 as Resolution 2024-30.
You did that already. You already did that.
This is the plan. This isn't the intermunicipal agreement. This is the plan, the comprehensive plan.
I think he's trying to say that the comprehensive plan that we passed,
That was in January of 27th. January 27th, 2025.
I believe the motion is to withdraw from the plan itself.
yeah.
We're going 2 steps back. We've already agreed not to approve the implementation agreement. Now we're going back to the first step, which is not even being part of the actual plan.
And then we're going to have to do our own comprehensive plan, correct?
Our
Well,
old one would become
Yeah, again,
The
yes
2011.
and no, but because you've been getting away with it, and I don't want to say getting away in a bad way, but you've been able to go about your business, who knows what some judge or some person may do down the line. Certainly, if you're not going to go with the comprehensive plan that has been just prepared for all the municipalities, then you should get your own done, because it's been a while since that was done.
So, okay, well, you're making the motion. We got to wait for a second. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now I'll open it up for discussion. So, my thought is that we have this comprehensive plan. It's in place. I go back to Supervisor Albert's thought, is you put it on the shelf, it's there. If you want to refer to it, you refer to it. If you want to leave it on the shelf and never open it, I mean, that's our choice.
And that's basically what Ron was saying. We don't,
Yeah.
by state statute, we really don't have to.
We don't have to do anything.
I agree with having a comprehensive plan. It shows the direction that we want to travel. And these seats do change. So the people that take them can continue the path forward into what we want to be. And if you read that comprehensive plan, it has a great direction. It's something that I agree with.
What, the old one?
The old one, yeah.
I would need to look at that again
It's
before
stating
I
that,
vote on
that
this.
we get our own kind of Main Street area. There was a development in there that no longer exists, but with the monies that we paid for this new plan, that has all statistical data that we can refresh that. If Mr. Freeman is saying that we need to make a committee, we can just take a look at that. I mean, the majority of it is there. If it needs to be refurbished a little bit, I can't imagine how that wouldn't be far cheaper than anything else just to comply with law. And again, I think it's a great idea for a township to have it.
Well, then I would ask that we give all the supervisors a chance to review the 2011 comprehensive plan and then come back and decide. But Ron, I know you've wanted to jump
Well,
in.
I just wanted to say, just so we have it done procedurally correct, that if Supervisor Erler wants to make the motion to withdraw, in fact, I think he has made the motion to withdraw from the comprehensive plan, that has to be done by resolution. We got in by resolution, we would have to get out by resolution. So that's all.
So are you saying he can make the motion
He could
to
make the
adopt
motion.
a resolution?
To withdraw from the comprehensive plan via a resolution,
Okay.
but you have to see if there's a second. And
It got
I'm
seconded.
assuming that that is something that we could act on because the agenda simply says comprehensive plan. It really doesn't say about what about the comprehensive
Yeah,
plan.
yeah.
So that's a whole other issue. But
So my thought, I know there's a motion on the floor, I know it's been seconded. My thought is to let the supervisors at least review the 2011 comprehensive plan, because, you know, we could all agree and say, hey, this 2011 comprehensive plan is much better than the current one, or maybe not, I don't know.
you can make a motion to amend the motion to say that you want to review the comprehensive plan, the 2011, whatever year it was,
Yeah.
plan. That motion to amend takes precedence of the motion on the floor.
Yeah.
You see if there's a second, and then you can vote on that motion. if you
Okay.
want.
Just, after I read it, it is leaps and bounds more specific for this community than the planned slate belt multi-municipal, which, as I stated, was geared towards boroughs. The townships were a second thought in it, and it has really nothing of value for a direction of Mount Bethel. That gives a very clear,
The current
pointed
one.
direction. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a question, where is this 2011 comprehensive plan? I don't think we ever finalized, those are the updates, our comprehensive plan is like 2002. Go, just.
Yeah, I believe it's 25 years old when I was. But the statistics are funny because they were expecting us to keep growing. So I think this year they have this pegged at like 21,000 population. But like I said, the intent of the community was there. And I hope it is, because I think we paid $100,000 over the span of 10 years for the plan. But it is leaps and bounds over what I've read that we have adopted.
Any other questions, concerns? Yeah.
Just for resource information, DCED actually has a document that helps townships, just like they help with the EMS, police. They have documents. I could send it to every one of you. It's 24 pages to help you make your decisions on which direction you want to go with comprehensive plan, but they will help you, consultant, what have you. So if you want, I could send it to all of you.
Yeah, so I think just, you know, I'll make a motion to amend that at least we hold off on getting out of the current comprehensive plan until all the supervisors have read whatever it's the original or old comprehensive plan, and then we come back in like next month's meeting, give everybody a month, so it would be, let me think, they would be,
I only have one copy, so I don't know if there's any other copies.
yeah, we'll have to make copies or something, I don't know.
Comprehensive plan in the beginning of the zoning book? Isn't it in the beginning of the zoning book?
I don't know, we'll figure that out, but I think at least let's push this back to next month, just so everybody can review the original comprehensive plan compared to this current one, and then we decide which one do we go with.
I'm not going to lie. I am a little surprised that that no one else has read the past comprehensive plan. Is that should have been the vision?
Well,
whether it was current or not, unless it was replaced.
All right, well, there's a motion on the floor, so we have to see if the motion will be seconded. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we'll do that in an upcoming meeting. Okay, moving on.
One more thing. Would it be proper to put this into public for the letter that I stated from, to make that public to everyone?
Ron, can he do that?
Give me this says message body.
Just transparency. I read a couple lines off it.
On first glance, it does not appear to be an issue, but there are 31 exceptions, so it's kind of hard for me to tell you off the top of my head whether this would fit within one of the 31 exceptions.
So what I would do, if you've got to go through all these exceptions, is wait until Cindy drafts the meeting minutes. You read the lines, right? Certain lines from that?
Just one. I didn't want it to be out of place. That I don't want to,
Yeah, but your line can be put in the meeting minutes from
Okay.
that email, word for word. If that's what you're trying to get at.
That's fine. It's just I think that this should be public information.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, Ron can check it out and see if there's, it's allowable or not.
I'll try to look at it, before I leave this evening here. I read the letter. It does not appear to be anything that would be confidential or that would be an issue. And frankly, under the right to know law, even if something is non-disclosable, the township can always decide to disclose it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just disclose the thing. I mean, it's obviously, I think, something Becky would have said here at a meeting to all of us. So why not just make it part of the meeting minutes?
Yeah, I'm looking at this now, and I'm comfortable enough to say that can be part of the meeting minutes or disclosed or whatever term you want to use.
Okay, thanks. Okay, moving on. Supervisor Friedman, EAC Facebook page.
Yes, the Environmental Advisory Committee would like to start a Facebook page, and since it's going to be in conjunction with the township, they just want the supervisor's blessing to be able to start a Facebook page.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I don't see any issue with it.
I don't think we need a vote or anything, just,
No, Ron, I don't think we need a vote. I mean, we're not.
Well, are you going to be spending any money for the EAC to establish this Facebook page? If you are, you should vote on it.
No, I don't think we're going to be. You don't need any money to keep a Facebook page up.
Okay, well, that's news to me because I'm not on any social media. So,
My thought on it is we just redid the website and gave every committee an area to post. Couldn't we just have it there?
Come on up, Courtney.
Courtney Gilmore, 107 Morningside Drive. While we did discuss your plan, we think if we have a more isolated Facebook page, we're using it to get more information out to the community, stuff in the environment, stuff at the preserve. We also are going to start activities with the community. It's just a more condensed place for the community to see what we're doing. We're going to start overrunning poor Cindy here with everything if we keep asking her to add to the website. So, Parks and Rec has one. EAC should have one. There's no real issue.
So you're trying to get more people involved with the EAC?
Not just the EAC, but the community to join us.
Yeah.
On kayaking events, walks through the preserve, but a more condensed way for the community to see what we are doing.
Thank you, Courtney.
If it's based on fast-paced events, then I can see that.
Yeah, it's just for the community.
Okay.
I think Starbucks wants to say something.
Township already established a social media policy. We already have several of these set up. We do it for sports programs. The only thing we've asked is, I've set up several of them, so the township still has, oversight on all of these groups, whether it's a public group or a private group. But I see no reason why you can't do this. We already do it for everything else.
Thanks.
So, and then the township can have moderators on it as well, just in case something goes south. And they can also have, if they so choose, they already have a page for the EAC, but for the EDC, we started a sub-site, which is separate and apart from the township website. We could also entertain if that's what they want, to set up a separate sub-site for the EAC so that it's specific to them, but it still ties back to the township's website. There's several things that are possible. We're doing this all for other committees now. I see no reason why we can't do this and still maintain security and protection for the public as well as for the EAC.
Are you able to link their Facebook pages to our website?
Yeah, we can tie their Facebook page or group to the township website, which is separate. So what he's asking is you can maintain your Facebook page, but that group can automatically update on the township website. So you manage Facebook, but it can be injected through an RSS feed into the township website. And this could be done for the other committees as well, which takes the burden off of Cindy, and if she can't do it, of course, by extension, into me. So it would improve communication and transparency for all these committees to get the word out to the public.
Okay.
But then also tie it into the township website. So
Perfect,
That's
thank you. Okay, anybody have an objection to the EAC having their own Facebook page? Okay, have at it, thank you. Nick, Chevy 3500 pickup.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is a CoStar's vendor, as you can see in the agreement. We talked about this at the last meeting. We were going to sell the truck 26 and the paver and the roller. Unfortunately, right now, Ford has stopped making 25, so you cannot buy a Ford, and there's no 35. There's no they're 350s. There's no 350s in stock that we want to purchase. The picture on this is a dually that we're not getting a dually. That's just a stock picture. The Chevys are still available to get 25s. So if we order this, we will not be paying for this probably until like the first week of August. We'll probably be getting it. It is upgraded with a plow, like discussed before, and a salter. It's a standard truck. The CoStar's discount, which was 3 times more than what we got on the other truck, was $3,315. The other one was $1,000, and the other 2 other vendors were $800. So the vendor that I spoke to at PSETS is the same vendor that we bought 2 other trucks from. He does a great service. We built a relationship with him. No issues with him. I recommend buying this from Hondru Fleet. Like I said, it will take probably approximately 8 weeks to 9 weeks, 10 weeks to get the truck. The upfitting will take 1 day, and the purchase of the vehicle is for replacement of 26, and actually we'll be able to use it for plowing in the wintertime, which would be a great help to our tandem trucks that we don't want in the smaller developments, which they don't belong in. So, if there's any questions.
So I'm sorry, now, which one is this truck or pickup going to replace?
26. It's the 2-door Silverado. It's a 2000, I believe, 16, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Did we sell that?
Not yet, no.
It was listed, or did it?
No, it's not listed yet. I told Troy to hold it because we're not getting the vehicle until August, so we'll probably put it up probably in July. We'll put it up on Municipal bid. That was already approved. The 26 was already approved, and you guys already approved it last meeting that we had.
Did we look at replacing the bed on that instead of purchasing it?
Well, it wasn't just the bed; it was the 2-door, and it's not a plowing truck.
So basically, and I'm not saying anything bad about the road crew or anything like this, but I keep looking at trucks out here. See right here, there's 3. There's
Right.
4, and plus we have all the other trucks.
Right.
I'm just afraid that we're going to have more trucks than we have employees, and where are we going to justify this?
Well, you have a truck.
Nothing against you, Nick.
No,
or
no,
anybody
no,
else.
no.
It's just,
Fair.
we're the caretakers of the taxpayers' money.
It's a fair question, and each truck, each piece of equipment does a certain thing. It's certain it's a tool, and it has a certain use. The 26 sits there, and that's why it's rotting. It doesn't do anything except transport two people to Clark's Auto Store, or something. It doesn't do anything else. So for the taxpayer dollars, we can get a good price for that 26 because it still has use to somebody else. But this also will do work all year round because now we could use it for the wintertime. We only have one pickup truck with a plow on it, but it has no. We can't put a spreader on it because it has a utility body on it. So you're defeating the purpose. Basically, you have to stick with somebody else. If I drive it in the wintertime to try to help the guys, I can't salt. And you don't want to do that because I'm in hard pack, so you have to stay with somebody else. This here will actually alleviate the tandems and keep them on the main roads and make sure that the people get their money's worth from the wintertime where, we're plowing the roads and we're in the developments and we're also on the main streets to quickly clear the roads. If you're saying there's a lot more trucks out there, yeah, there's new trucks, and we're trying to cut back on cost on, fixing them. It's a cost, and it goes up every year. These trucks are all on warranty now for 3 or 4 years, depending on which vehicle it is.
What about if we wait until we sell the 26, see how much we get for it, and then take a look at this?
Well, if you want to do that, then we're going to keep waiting, and the 25s you can't buy anymore. Now we're going to have to wait until October, November, and then we won't get the truck until after the winter. So now we're going to be without a truck in the wintertime. 26, we have the funding in the capital. The money is there. The money is in the capital fund account from the previous trucks that we sold, and that's what that money is allocated for. There's over $100,000 in those accounts. This truck is $70,000 with its upfitting. So the money is there. We're not taking money out of the machinery fund. We're leaving that alone. This vehicle, between all the things that we're selling, possibly could pay almost 3/4 of that cost of that vehicle. But we're ordering it now. We are going to sell it later because we still need a truck just in case something happens. So we're not going to sell it, and then we're going to be scurrying around looking for a truck to get to people. You're not going to drive in a tandem to take people to a work site. We're going to be very busy between the park, between the paving and fixing the softball fields. We're going to need our vehicles. So they're all going to be working. You can't have a work truck doesn't sit. A work truck needs to be working. If a truck is sitting, this is what happens. It rots.
Nick, I think you're in the wrong line of work. You shouldn't be buying trucks. You should be selling them. I have a question. I have a question about the LPO work step. That was an add-on for the truck that you spec'd out. What is that?
The LPL?
LPO work step. Are
Where are
those
you on
running
that,
boards? Is it a back step? Does anyone know what an LPO back step
It's on
is?
page 8.
Thank you.
It's just a work step.
Black work step.
It's on the rear of the vehicle. Is that what you're looking at? The LPO?
Additional equipment. LPO. $575.
Do you see it, Nick?
Yeah, it's a work step for the rear of the vehicle,
Probably a step bumper.
so you can get onto the truck easier. Right,
Okay.
so it pops down.
Okay, any other questions from the supervisors?
I talked to my consultant before.
Is this your consultant?
Yeah, Rich.
All right, Rich, come on up with your questions.
Much of a discussion about it because really, when you come right down to it, Richard B. Klingel Jr., 850 Tots Gap Road, nobody's really saying why we need another truck. We got a lot full of trucks. and there's two of yous that voted for that truck. And if you remember very well, it was discussed that we needed that truck because we had a truck that had 4 doors, and there was no reason we needed a truck with 4 doors because we don't haul that many people around. So that truck was bought. Now you're saying we don't need that truck, we need a truck with 4 doors. So where does it end? You know, if you got to haul some guys to to a work site, why not use the Trailblazer you got out there? That's good enough for him to ride around when his vehicle was broke down. Why can't they use that to go to the job site?
They do.
So when
When the other trucks are broken down.
that means you got to have 4 guys in the Trailblazer and then 4 guys in a work truck that's a 4-door. So that's 8 guys. Who's going to haul all the machines and everything to a job site? Right there's 8 guys out of the crew.
Right, there's a purpose for everything, Rich. That truck there doesn't plow. That truck
Well, yeah.
there,
So what would the purpose?
that SUV is 20 years old.
I don't care if it's 30 years old.
I know
It's
you
paid
don't, but
for.
that's fine.
It's paid for, right?
The people in this community pay for us to take care of the roads. That
Exactly.
truck's not going to take care of the roads. This truck here, we're replacing a truck. I'm not adding a truck. I'm replacing it. So you're not going to see an additional truck on the lot. That truck's being replaced so you can get more use out of it.
Exactly. But you got a whole line of trucks out here. You got trucks over here. You got trucks over here. Where does it end? Where do you guys stop buying trucks and not letting them sit? You're going to have that truck. So say, for instance, you're going to have that truck. Then you're going to have the white dump truck over here. That one's not going to be used. You're going to have the one with the stake body. That's not going to be used. Why not take that truck and put a stake body on that? If you're saying that the bed is rotted out.
You're talking about the 2 4-tons that we have?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well, they're used. They're
pickup
different.
over here.
They're different use. You need a hammer and you need a saw. I mean, they're different uses.
You need a what?
I'm making a comparison. A hammer and a saw. The hammer doesn't do the same thing that a saw does. The 4-ton doesn't do the same thing that a pickup does.
Okay, so what's a 4-door pickup going to do that pickup can't do except for have 4 doors
And plow.
and plow?
And
Why-
saw.
But you don't have
Why
enough-
exactly is that
But you
that,
don't
that
have
truck
enough-
can't plow?
Hold on, Rich. Go
You
ahead.
want to add a plow you want to add a plow to that? You can't. You're in the same situation you're with the other 3,500 that doesn't have a salter on it. You can't plow
So,
and
so
not
the,
have
the
salt,
reasoning is
because what
that
happens
you
is-
can't put a salter on this truck because it has a
Correct, 'cause it's
utility
got-
body.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're saying we need another truck with a plow. We don't have enough trucks with plows? I mean, come on, really?
Rich,
We have-
it's a pickup truck with a plow. It has
Exactly.
different purposes. It clears out the radiuses. It clears out the roads on smaller roads. You don't want a tandem driving through Saddle Creek and Crystal Terrace, because now it's eating up the road. It's heavier weight. You got an 80,000-pound truck, and you got with the weight on it, it's 15,000-pound truck. So now we're replacing the roads more. I've been in this business my whole life. And you're a truck driver, you should know that. You're going to drive in a tandem up in Saddle Creek and Gallery Lane and Crystal Terrace. It's going to eat up the roads. We're going to be replacing the roads more. So in the long run, you're spending more money, more funding. A pickup truck doesn't do the damage that a tandem does or a triaxle does. That's why I said to you the triaxle shouldn't be doing snow plowing, because it's like driving a mountain around here on the roads. It's too
Exactly.
heavy.
They shouldn't have been bought in the first
Well,
place.
yeah, I agree
then on
with
the
you.
other hand, if you're going to buy a 4-door pickup and put a plow and put a salter on it, why not get rid of one of the older trucks that's out there? But you don't want to get rid of any of them, because what if the other ones break down? But that's what they were bought for. They were bought so that we could get rid of all the old trucks out there. Right?
Right.
I mean, that was the agreement.
Right.
No, we're getting rid of all the old trucks. We're getting all new trucks. And then it was, well, if they break down, what are we going to use? But now you want to buy another truck with a plow on it.
So here's the other argument. So you want to get rid of the other 2 tandems. We'll get rid of the other 2 tandems. And someone said to me, well, what happens if if a truck breaks down? Now what do? Now I got to hire somebody to pick up the slack because we don't have it. And I got a guy sitting here that I can only give him a shovel.
That would leave
That
you
doesn't
with-
make any sense. You
that
got to
would leave
have
you with how many
you have
trucks?
to have redundancy. The people, Ron Engel mentioned it before. The second-class township is all about keeping people safe on the roads.
Exactly.
It's a lot of work. You need the tools to do the work. If you don't give the men the tools to work, you're not going to get it done. We're not a poor township. We aren't in bad shape. We're in good shape. I'm replacing something with something. I'm not adding. Your argument is, all these
all
trucks.
right, all
I'm
right.
replacing it. No, John, I'm tired of it because he keeps bringing up the same thing over and over again. We have the same conversation. These people pay a lot of taxes in this township, and that's our job. If you want to run around with a 50-year-old tractor and clean things up in a 20-year-old truck, we're Upper Mount Bethel Township. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. If this board doesn't want to do that, that's fine. That's not my thinking. This township deserves the best.
Okay,
Guys,
you got
no.
how many trucks out there? 8
Rich,
of them, right?
Rich, you got to wrap it
I'm not
up.
going to count them again.
Gentlemen, I do see that we're weighing the having redundancies to make sure our roads are safe with the supervisors trying to remain fiscally responsible. And, I mean, we can have redundancies for the redundancies, but we have to meet a balance. So perhaps we should table this until we can discuss it more.
Yeah, I can see that. That we need to weigh the pros and cons of having this, and I see the points. Of
I just
getting
listed
this.
all the pros and cons, John.
I heard it, and any other thoughts from other supervisors?
Get it while you can.
Corey?
You don't get it now, you're going to have to wait until next year.
If it's mainly because it's got a utility body on it, and we want to use a truck for plow, can't we just put a regular truck body on it? Have that painted, put the salter on it, and a plow.
So you're talking about fixing this truck here?
Take the utility body off. I mean, it's doable.
Yeah, sure it is. I mean, you could do that and upfit that. You're going to spend $20,000, $30,000 on a used truck to fix it.
I'm just
If
thinking
you want to
of it-
upgrade it and you want to spend money like that, if you're spending good money into bad, that's fine. I mean, whatever the board wants to do. It's not, the money is there. We're replacing a truck. We're not adding a truck. We're replacing a truck. So no, if you want to count trucks, the count's going to be the same. If we don't order it now, that's fine. You don't want to order it, that's fine. But we won't be getting a truck until the following year, so we're going to be without a plow truck in the wintertime.
I guess my only concern is I do see the benefit for this truck having a plow and getting into the smaller developments, right? I see that benefit. If we table this, what are you going to do to plow the roads in the smaller developments?
Work with
this
what we
winter?
have, and what we have is a truck with a plow on it, but no salt on it. I can't salt with it. So it's basically the last resort.
If we needed to, could we pick something up from municipal for a time frame to get us by, if this is the main concern?
Can you? It's a hypothetical question.
I mean,
you can.
The next thing on the list is bucket truck, which I put on because of our conversations at P-Stats. So we got two trucks back to back. Let's hear them both out before we.
You need a plow truck more than you need a bucket truck. Absolutely. So I don't, the bucket truck, I didn't ask you to put that on there. I wasn't prepared for that yet. You put that on your own.
Yeah.
I did not tell you to put that on there.
Pickup with a plow on it be easier to get around the developments than a four-door pickup? I mean, you're talking about space.
I'm talking about use, Rich.
Well, yeah, but you're also talking
So all year round, you're using a truck that has four doors on it, so you can get guys around easier with it, so it's working. That truck sits here. A work truck needs to work. If you don't let it work, it rots. If you have a plow truck and it sits there, it rots. You replace.
the ones that are out here then, right?
Yeah, it happens. Yeah,
They're all sitting out there rotting away then, right?
they're not all rotten.
You're saying they don't get used?
They need to be used, and they will be used. They're going to be doing a lot of work this summer.
All these trucks out here.
All right, Rich, hold on. Yeah, Joe.
Let me ask you this. On
It depends on the time of the year. It depends on what usage you're using. Well, no, those trucks are brand new. Hopefully they're not breaking down, right? I mean, they're brand new, and they're not. This mower over here, we just got it up and running. It took about 3 weeks to get it up and running. Things break down. It's one after another.
So on a monthly basis, how many, out of all these vehicles, how many times do you think they go to the garage?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the newer trucks hopefully just go to get their inspection every year and get an oil change. So the issue is, well, if we get rid of that one vehicle, then we're down a truck.
Yeah, you gotta get a replacement vehicle.
So I'm not adding a truck, if that's what you mean, Joe. I don't know if that's your point, Joe. I'm replacing that vehicle to a truck that's going to be used more. Correct.
All right, go ahead, Ron. Come up if you're talking to the mic. I'm sorry, I should have had you, Joe, talking to the mic. That's my bad.
In another life, I was actually the road superintendent here, and Nick is correct. It's not just open roads that you're taking care of. It's not like this road in North Bangor or whatever. You have cul-de-sacs. You have small things. You need certain equipment to do certain jobs. It would be insane to plow with one truck that doesn't have a salter on it and then try to figure out how do you come back with another bigger truck with a salter on it. It would be absurd. Maybe these trucks don't get all the use you'd like to see them get, but frankly, you need them there when you need them. Correct. And there frankly needs to be another truck with a plow and a salter. And to get by and say, well, if we do it next year, okay, what are you going to do this winter? Winter comes every year. The long and short of it is you need certain equipment to do certain jobs here. And nobody knew that better than me. I was the road superintendent. But you can't use tandems, you can't use triaxles on cul-de-sacs and little roads. It just doesn't work.
Thank you. Okay, I've heard the arguments and thought about the pros and cons, but I think this is a vehicle that is needed. I think you've given me enough information on bringing a motion forward, and I believe the pros outweigh the cons. And like you said, it's not adding on a new vehicle. You're going to sell that one. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and take the actions necessary to order and purchase. Would it be this truck right here, or which one do I?
Yeah, it's a 3500, but they have a stock picture of a dually on
Okay.
it. That's not the actual truck.
So I'll make the motion that we go ahead and take the actions necessary to get the 3500 pickup.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Will this come with that service plan like the other ones?
Yeah, this is 3 years, 36,000 warranty.
Just factory, nothing
Factory.
additional, no service plans?
No, just the basic 3-year, 36,000. Bumper to bumper.
Any other questions? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion carries 3-2. Supervisor Erler, bucket truck.
This was brought about by going to the P-Stats. Lynn was there, Nick was there, I was there with Mr. Supervisor Friedman as well. A lot of our conversations were revolving around a bucket truck that they had there that was, it wasn't brand new. It was a demo, and they had it at a decent price, and I'm not suggesting that we absolutely buy it right now. I just put it on there so that we can have some discussion about it. This is not a tree truck. We're not going to get into the tree business. This would facilitate if limbs were just hanging and didn't be required to pay a tree company to come out. It was something that we could do, or hanging a banner. I do like utilizing, I believe it's East Bangor, right, when they provide their
Yeah.
truck. That cooperation is very nice. I didn't think that we really needed one, but to be honest, I was surprised that the town didn't have one when I took this position.
Yeah, I mean, we have an agreement with East Bangor. It's been working out for years, and we can utilize them when we need a bucket truck. So, and like you said, John, we're not in the tree business. Our road crew isn't trained, to handle getting trees or branches off of wires. So I'm glad you brought it up, but I think until it's an absolute necessity, I don't think it is right now, especially with East Bangor.
Okay.
And you also have, John, you also have Rosetto. You can call Carl Renner up anytime. He's the roadmaster.
Right.
They have a brand new one. It's only a year old.
Great.
So that's another, another local community that has a bucket truck.
You gonna call them out in the middle of the night?
How much is a bucket truck? $150,000. No, they already got a price. How much was that bucket truck out there that you were looking at?
$144,995.
So 144, that's gonna justify buying that truck to put up a banner. And Christmas like that.
No,
No,
but the,
we
but
were
the
having
written-
this. I was not really for it. They were making some good points for it. So again, I wanted to bring it up to the supervisors to get a little bit more insight on what they thought.
How can there be any good points to spending almost $150,000 to put up banners?
Well, unless you're putting up a banner every day. I'm telling you, I don't see we need a bucket truck right now.
How much was that cost again?
$144,995.
You can usually pay a lot of contractors to cut some trees for you at that price.
Well, at the rate of the trees are falling down now, the bucket truck's invaluable in cleaning up trees.
Okay, so then you're gonna buy, say for instance, you buy that, then what are you gonna buy after that? Then you're gonna want another $50,000 for a chipper, right? We need a chipper. We've got a bucket truck, we might as well get a chipper. Then we're gonna have two guys sent out to go and take all the drainage.
Rich, we're not buying a bucket truck tonight.
He discussed some others, so I'll bring it up.
Yeah, Joe. Oh, you got to come up to the mic. I'm sorry.
Rich doesn't need a
Yeah, Rich, you don't need a mic. Joe, you might need a mic.
Joe Torrey, Institute Road. Hey, you got to think of liability. Hey, if you don't know what to do when you're up in the air doing something like this, you can get hurt. You got to know how to cut a tree, anything off of another object. So you got to remember this. Liability, somebody here could get hurt. You don't know how capable these men are that you have.
I'm fully aware. I work with a bucket truck.
You're better off hiring somebody, I'm telling you.
At my work. They also need to be inspected once a year. That price ranges from $450 to $900, depending on what hydraulics and the one that they were looking at was cheaper. It doesn't have outriggers, which I was not a fan of. As I'm up in that bucket, I want
right,
to
you
see
need
my
stability.
outriggers out and tight.
You're just better off hiring someone. Trust me. Seriously thinking, think of liability, if anything.
I think that's what we're saying, yeah. Anything else with bucket trucks?
No, I took a couple different ones. The one that the road foreman and the manager were looking at was the cheapest option, but I wasn't sold on it.
Okay. All right, moving on. Supervisor Erler, will stay with you. Legal advertisement location on township website.
This came about through some of the classes I attended at PSTATS. There's hopefully going to be litigation that is going to get us out of having to post in the paper, as it is very expensive for any ordinance or any meeting. They're seeing that that's an antiquated rule, although it is a rule. that kind of got me thinking that since we just redid the site, if we had a spot on the website that we can post our legal advertisements and perhaps the open seat position so that people are a little bit more aware of it. Currently, we still have to take out ads in the paper. I don't know about your particular legal status. If you have to continue to list, Ron?
I'm sorry.
Do you have to continue to list in the paper?
List with what? Ordinances and
Yeah.
things? And yeah, that's not changed. That's still the law.
Okay.
So ordinances have to be advertised twice. Subdivision ordinances twice. Meetings have to be advertised. Nothing has changed in that regard. There's been a push to say, well, now with the internet and all that jazz, do we really need to do that? Because it is costly, and it is time consuming, and it is tedious. But to my understanding, that is the deal. In fact, when the Express Times notified my office that it was no longer going to be doing any hard newspapers, it was only going to be online, I had to go find another newspaper that still does a paper newspaper, which is the Morning Call.
Okay, so one of the things that I saw was that we do pay by character when we do an advertisement.
By line, yes.
Do you think it would be legal to post the name of the ordinance and then say, like, see website for more details?
You could certainly do that, but that's not going to satisfy the advertising requirements. That would
Okay.
just be something in addition to, as a courtesy to township residents.
Okay. I still think it's a good idea to put a location on the website. If this does happen down the road, we already have it set up. And again, it's another avenue of citizens to go, if they don't read the paper, for our current happenings.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and you're trying to look at ways to cut costs, so nothing harmful from doing that, so thank you.
Stavros, as our IT rep, director, will this be difficult for you to do? Okay. Just another tab for legal? Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys. Moving on is letter of support for data centers. So our external counsel drafted this letter. It's a data center development proposal. Basically, the letter, and I'll read the letter to everyone. But we're doing this in support of a data center coming here to Upper Mount Bethel Township. We feel this would be more beneficial for the township than warehouses, and this letter is directed and will be sent, if it's approved, to Lou Pector. And the letter says the following. It says, Dear Lou, on behalf of the Upper Mount Bethel Township Board of Supervisors, please allow this letter to serve as a formal expression of our support for a data center campus development at the location of the proposed River Point Logistics Center development. As you know, the board previously authorized advertisement of a proposed amendment to the Upper Mount Bethel Township zoning ordinance where the River Point Logistics Center development is located. The board has held the consideration and adoption of that ordinance in abeyance until such time as the data center development is ready to move forward. Nonetheless, the board is prepared to promptly consider the adoption of the ordinance or an acceptable amended version of the ordinance in accordance with the timelines and procedures required by the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code as soon as a data center developer is selected. We hope that you will share this expression of support with any data center developers you are discussing with, and we look forward to the opportunity to foster a positive working relationship with whichever developer decides to move forward with this project. The above is simply a formal expression of support for the concept of a data center development in Upper Mount Bethel Township. It does not constitute an approval or a promise of an approval of any zoning change or development plans. As you can appreciate, any zoning change or development approvals must go through the process prescribed by the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code and the Upper Mount Bethel Township ordinances. The board looks forward to continuing to work with you to bring this important development in Upper Mount Bethel Township to fruition. Very truly yours, Upper Mount Bethel Township Board of Supervisors. You have the letter in your packet. You've all seen the letter. Any questions from the supervisors? Okay, do we have a motion to adopt this data center development proposal?
That being said, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the following motion. The motion to authorize the execution of a letter on behalf of the Board of Supervisors to River Point Logistics Center, LLC, expressing support for a data center campus development as prepared by Township Special Land Use Council. The transmittal of the letter to RPL by the Special Land Use Council shall be conditioned upon the withdrawal or termination of all litigation against the township initiated on or behalf of RPL/Lou Pector to the satisfaction of Township Litigation Council.
Okay, so there's your motion. Is there a second? Okay, I'll go ahead and second it. Is there any discussion? Okay, well, wait. All right, it's been seconded. You could come up.
Is there two different things before you? Am I correct?
Seems that way.
So I was glad to see, I thought, that you were in support of a data center with certain conditions. I think that should have been done before, but better now than never. But I'm not surprised that Mr. Friedman, at this 11th hour, would try to run interference. So I guess my real question here would be, presuming there's at least 4 of you who are in support of what was read and not read by Mr. Friedman, it would pass. But the main thing I'd like to bring up is, I hope that this time around you have hired professionals to negotiate on your behalf, whoever this new data center may be. I hope you would instruct Mr. Friedman to keep his nose out of the negotiations, because quite frankly, he was a major player in Amazon not coming to town. Thank you for the opportunity to address you.
Okay.
And that is a blatant lie.
Okay, now, Joe, get real quick.
I'll just tell you this.
Yeah.
You already have a committee, the EDC. Thank you. They can set up negotiations with RPL or whatever this data center is. Why don't we just implement these guys? They're very smart people, professional business people.
Okay.
Trust me when I tell you this. That's who you get to do this negotiation in case closed.
Okay. So we do have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any questions about the motion?
Yeah, I think, we want to show our support with these, for Lou, but I think right there's 2 separate things going on. I think we need to, obviously with the litigation, yes, does it need to go away for taxpayers' money? Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that, but we were asked to show our support for data centers.
Well, you can amend the motion if you want.
Right. That's a whole nother something in the frying pan with the litigation. I think we need to do this first to show that we want to work with the Pectors, the upcoming data centers that possibly could be coming in. We don't know. but we're throwing a wrench. We want to work with them.
So why don't you go ahead and amend the motion?
I would like to amend the motion that we just vote on putting this letter that you just read. That's what we concentrate on right now.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, or the motion has been amended. It's on the floor. Is there a second for that amended motion?
Second.
Any other discussion?
I think that throwing the litigation with it, as Supervisor Ekman said, I truly believe that a data center is the correct way forward for our community, keeping the trucks out. We do have to make additional speculations and noise testing, maybe find out how we can monitor the noise going forward, because that is my concern with data centers. But still, pros versus cons, I think data centers wins every single time. So,
Okay, any other comments?
So what's the specific motion?
I believe Supervisor Ekman is just saying we approve this letter and leave it at that. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, trust me, I don't want to be in litigation anymore either, but I think we just need to do one movement at a time. You know, we want to work with the Pectors. We want to move forward with this if they have any good leads on this. And then, yes, do we need to address the litigations? 100%, but I
Yeah,
think this
okay.
comes first.
Okay, I think that's fair. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 5-0.
Like this, victory.
5-0. Guys, take it easy. All right, we're going into executive session for legal matters. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
It is 9:31 p.m. We went into executive session. Ron?
Yes, you initially announced the matter was legal matters, but it was really personnel matters in which attorney-client privilege and legal matters were discussed. But it was personnel as such. And I don't know if there's any motions coming out of the session.
Okay, are there any motions out of executive session? Okay, that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anyone want to still hang out? Okay, that's the end of the meeting. Good night.